Hello everybody, it's Jen Anu and continuing on with this planet decipher. Today we're going to work with Saturn, and I encourage everybody here to follow up with Yvette 11, Lavette 11, and Mighty Messer for other parts of the study. Right now we're going to take a look at the numbers first. And there's some interesting finds in here. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of, I don't know, stories about Saturn, but I'm going to try to level this down for you a little bit. Saturn does serve a function. He's not just the greedy whip master to make you work kind of deal. It's more about reaping the rewards, as you know. The sickle is indicated in the glyph, but reaping the rewards of hard labor is what it is supposed to be about. As you can see, Saturn has an exact match for Brunswick, which I thought was kind of cool, but I don't know what it means. I'm sure there's something to it. It's got half matches of Maryland, Octagon, Daughter, and Ocean. Now, the interesting thing there is the octagon, where everybody is saying, no, it's the cube, no, it's the hexagon. But Saturn actually translates out to octagon, which is way different. So it makes you question some of the stuff that people have been saying out there and the representations. A lot of people like to associate the Hebrew certain sects of the Hebrew as Saturn worshippers, and that's why it's associated mainly with the hexagon because of the Star of David. But I tend to disagree with this assumption. Just because they found a hexagon on the North Pole of Saturn, that's actually I don't know what to say about that, except for the fact that, it's a natural occurrence. Obviously, there's no generator that's been detected for it, and I don't have a feeling that it is. I think it's a misindication of what Saturn is truly about. Saturn goes by, in Greek mythology, of course Saturn is Roman, but in Greek mythology, he goes by Kronos. And Kronos has different spellings, and I'll explain to you the difference between Kronos with an H and Kronos without the H. Basically, Kronos with the H is the ruler of time, and he is not a Titan as so far as Kronos without the H is, but matches to Kronos time is Earthquake, Memory, and Brooks, and these are normally associated with water signs, such as what Neptune or Poseidon would be pretty much a master over. And so I find it interesting that these planets that we're told mean one thing are translating out to something different. There's different ways of spelling Kronos without the H. There's 3 different ways, actually. And Kronos with a K translates out to Pope, New York, and Mithras. And I think Mithras is a pretty interesting character to be associated with Kronos. Kronos with a C is Virgin and Yellow. And Kronos with the C but has a U at the last O is an identical match for Crescent Moon and Friday, which is very interesting. The Friday makes sense because in the Book of Cube, the circuit, the solar system circuit lies between Mars and Saturn, and it is the externalizing intelligence, which is circuit number 24. Saturn has bode numbers of 100, which is very interesting. And there's my 7-3 and its diameter, so I've come across another 7-3. And when I come across 7-3, I see that not as revelation type stuff, but more as heaven identifiers. Let's see, back to where we were at. We also have half matches for Circle, Hearth, South Dakota, Airplane, Life, Gabriel, and Snowden. And that kind of takes a lot of, just with those words right there, kind of takes, some of the devious meanings that a lot of people are deriving, by mixing old scriptures and things like that, and which is something that I don't do. So anybody else can have fun with these and come up with their own conclusions. I'm going to stick pretty much to what it actually says rather than implying. Let's get on with the glyph here. The Saturn symbol is composed of two design elements. The top cross, which is symbolic of the accumulation of matter, which is the four directions, the four elements, as well as the function of intense focus. That means when you take the four elements and draw them towards the middle, that's intense focus. The second component of Saturn icon is the crescent element, which I described earlier in the crescent moon, which is reminiscent of the sickle and scythe, which again refers back to reaping your harvest. These are of particular interest because of the symbolism of planet Saturn, and the agricultural Roman god Saturn often addresses themes of death. Once your harvest, everything dies down till spring, where you can plant again. Note that the archetype of death, this personification, carries the sickle to acknowledge the opportune moment of harvesting current life. And a lot of people take that and call him, evil. But as many know, life and death are a repeating cycle, and one is always the other. They always carry within each other the other. The sigil is similar to the Hebrew letter Tau, which also has associations with time and death. The Chinese and Japanese cultures designate planet Saturn with Earth Star. This is based on 5 elements, so now you're including spirit when you have 5 elements, which was traditionally used to classify natural elements. Ether would be the spirit. Ether is something you create, which is a 5th element, gases, basically. The theme of harvesting joins with the Saturn symbol, meaning the meaning of recycling new and old. Underlying mythological themes further reveal the god Saturn dethroned his father Uranus, and we've talked about this before. This dethroning symbolizes the changing of the old regime, which is death, to the new one, rebirth, and this ties in with the Saturn's symbol. Alchemical respect here is the planet Saturn represents the alchemical metal lead. And the qualities of Saturn include limitation, protection, and restraint. Lead is therefore used historically where these qualities are required. It is still common to see lead-lined caskets, and it is traditional to keep scriptures and religious relics shielded in lead reliquaries. Alchemically, lead is the prima materia, or primal material, and represents the putrefaction and decay necessary for new life. And everyone knows about lead poisoning, so I don't need to go any further than that. Let's see, a little bit more on the Chronos. In the most classic and well-known version of the Greek mythology, Chronos, or both Chronos and Chronos, the last 3 I was showing you, was the leader and youngest of the first generation of Titans. Saturn even has a moon called Titan. Defined descendants of Gaia, the Earth, and Uranus, the sky. He overthrew his father and ruled during the mythological Golden Age until he was overthrown by his own son Zeus and imprisoned in Tartarus. Cronus was usually depicted with the harp and sickle, which was the instrument he used to castrate and depose Uranus, his father. In Athens, on the 12th day of the Attic month of, oh goodness, Hectombion. Levette, you probably have an easier time with that one. A festival called Cronia, later to become Saturnalia, was held in honor of Cronus to celebrate the harvest, suggesting that as a result of his association with the virtuous Golden Age, Cronus continued to preside as a patron of the harvest. Cronus was also identified in classical antiquity with the Roman deity Saturn. In the Song of Alchemy, Teshub uses the sickle with which the heaven and earth had once been separated to defeat the monster Ulukumi, establishing that the castration of the heavens by means of a sickle was part of the creation myth. In origin, a cut creating an opening or gap between heaven, imagined as a dome of stone, and earth, enabling the beginning of time, Chronos, and human history. Many cultures celebrate or celebrated a holiday near or within a few days of the winter solstice. Examples of these include Yalda, Saturnalia, Christmas, and the list goes on, of course. And basically, it's the winter solstice celebration of the festival of the sun return, because this is where it stands still for 3 days and then starts going forward again. When the Hellenes encountered Phoenicians and later Hebrews, then identified the Semitic El by interpolatio Gracia with Cronus. The association was recorded in 100 AD by Philo of Byblos, Phoenician history, as reported in, oh boy, there's a whole bunch of them. Anyway, I'm going to pass on that. Philo's account ascribed by Eusebius to the semi-legendary pre-Trojan War Phoenician history indicates that Cronus was originally a Canaanite ruler who founded Biblios, which is another word for book, and was subsequently deified. This version gives his alternate name of Elis or Ilios, and states that the 32nd year of his reign he emasculated, slew, and deified his father Epigeus, or Otto something or another, whom they afterwards called Uranus. Now, Cronus versus Cronus. I'm going to do this last little bit real quick and send you on your way. The Greek myth Kronos, also known as Aeon or Aeon, which is another meaning for time, was the god of the ages, golden to brazen, and the zodiac parent with Anaki, inevitably, to the primordial Fanes who hatched from the world egg at the beginning of time. Now, Kronos, without the H, was the ruler of the Titans, as the Titan god of time, born from Oranos and Gaius, and Oranos is another word for Uranus, and was the father of Zeus. Many academic works and encyclopedias conflate the two figures, or completely ignore the existence of Kronos time as a distinct and separate embodiment of time. Okay, well, this is what I got for you. I hope you guys follow up on the rest. There's, of course, much more to follow. We ask everyone to join, and y'all have a beautiful day. Amen.